Emancipation. Now, neither of us have watched the movie Emancipation, but one of the things is that when the movie came out, I have slave movie genre fatigue. Now, when I grew up, I remember starting, and I know some of these movies are not slave movies, but they're in the genre, right? I remember the original one watching was Roots. Now, that was a movie that, slaves. I remember watching Amistad. I know this is not a slave movie, but I remember watching that Oprah movie, The Color Purple, Raisin in the Sun, all of that stuff. And you know what? Some of it was segregation related, some of it was Jim Crow related, and some of it was slave related, right? Amistad and Roots definitely were. I have a fatigue about that because what I look at is I do know about this and I do appreciate that we do need to teach the next generation about it. But at some point, I think we need a break from this and we need to start focusing on building a future and all of that stuff. Now, people are saying that the reason why the movie did not do well at the box office was because Will Smith, who is a star, that slapping incident at Oscars. But I don't think that's the big reason. I think if Will Smith starred in a movie that people wanted to watch, they would have gone to the theater to watch it. I know you haven't watched it, but would you have gone to the theaters to watch it?
To be honest, Pookie, I don't really go to the theaters to watch drama or romance films. I go to watch movies that would have a big cinematic effect. So action movies, fantasy, sci-fi. So movies like Avatar, movies like,
Black Panther.
Avengers. Yeah, Black Panther. Those are the things, because I think...
Did you watch Black Adam?
I did watch Black Adam.
I know, sorry, but was it good?
I think it was okay. It was a different kind of superhero movie. So it was different. It was okay. I really can't say if I loved it or hated it. I just thought it was an okay movie. But back to the original question, I don't really go to watch, movies like that because I don't think it's worth it. I think those movies, you have to listen to everything that is being said and you have to look at body language. And that's a bit distracting to do when you're in a theater with other people. So no, to answer your question, I would not go to watch a movie like Emancipation in the cinemas, but that has nothing to do with the actual movie itself or the actors. That has more to do with the fact that I don't think it's worth going, like a Hallmark movie. I would never pay to go to the cinema to watch a Hallmark movie. It's just not worth it. I'd watch that in my living room. You know what I mean?
But my question is, how quickly are you rushing to watch Emancipation in your living room?
I'm not.
Why?
Not. I think that unless the movie is uplifting to the Black community or unless the movie is portraying a specific message or trying to highlight a specific person from during that era within the Black community, I don't think it's even worth watching. We've watched so many movies about the enslaved and about how people suffered and how they were abused. I think we've beaten that horse, and I'm not saying that these topics are not important, but I think we need to elevate the way we discuss, the way we talk about these things, and the way we portray these things. I think that we need to look at it from a different perspective and from a different level. We all know the history. We all know that Black people were enslaved. We all know they were abused. We all know that they were taken from their lands. We need to look at it in a different way now. In an elevated way. We need to convey an elevated message. We need to kind of look past the history and, move toward a future. I hope you understand what I'm saying, because I'm not saying that what transpired was unimportant.
But hold on. I mean, and sorry to interrupt you, but we both have, our great-great-great-grandparents were slaves, right? We both had that history. And we both know where they come from, because we know where they came from in Africa, but we know where they came from, in what region they came from, and all of that stuff. My question to you is, and this is the one that I wanted to get to. You watched the movie Pursuit of Happiness. I left that movie touched because I saw someone who struggled. And it was a true story, who struggled, went through a lot.
But that's exactly my point. Yeah. That's elevating that message. when children watch a movie where people are being beaten and they're being abused and, you know, the family is torn apart and it ends, you know, in sadness and grief and whatever, they come away feeling angry, and there's an enemy, there's a common enemy, and it is, you know, members of the other race. No, I don't think that that's a positive message to spread to people, or especially our young people. But a movie like Pursuit of Happiness, where you are in a circumstance and within that circumstance you are able to elevate and lift yourself out of it, is a positive message that somebody can aspire to. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. If we are going to highlight and portray slavery, the enslaved, the messaging that we're communicating needs to be a little bit different, because we are also feeding the younger generation this message. They're watching these things, right? Now, how do we want them to feel about themselves when they finish watching that movie? What are the thought processes that we want them to concentrate on and to focus on? What is the discussion that we want to have coming out of that? So again, I'm not saying it is not important for them to learn the history. Of course it is. You know, Marcus Garvey said a tree without roots, you know, are like a people who don't know their history. And a tree without roots, we all know, cannot survive. But what is the messaging that we want to portray to our the younger generation? And again, I didn't watch the movie. Maybe it has a happy ending. I don't really know. I didn't watch the trailers either. I'm not really certain what the movie is all about. I just know it's about, you know,
slavery,
the enslaved. Exactly. So that's one thing I think we have to be cautious of as a people and as members of the Black community. You know, it's time for us to uplift our children and ourselves and not do it, you know, through anger. But okay, this thing happened. How are we going to, you know, rise up out of it? How are we going to elevate our thought process? And how are we going to inspire those around us and achieve? These are the things I think we need to concentrate on.
Yeah, and you know what? I got a lot of comments on this, and I respect the people that comment on it, because there's some people who really are really passionate about this. They're saying, hey, the next generation needs to know about this. And I do agree. The next generation needs to know about it. But my thing is, you have to be careful with this, because I don't want my children to grow up as feeling a victim. Because you know what, they can achieve a lot in this world, and I want them to know that they can achieve a lot in the world. And not that this movie tells them that they can't achieve a lot in the world, but I'm just wondering what's the information they're getting from this, right? They have to work alongside different people of different hues and ethnicities. I don't want them to feel like the different, the other, right? And one of the things is, you know, we are now experiencing, you know, look at the US, they had a Black president, you know, Barack Obama. Now they, you know, Kamala Harris, you know, big up Kamala Harris, you know, her family's originally from Jamaica, you know, so, you know, Pookie's Jamaican, so, you know, we all take a little bit of honor in that. She's the vice president. Now, what I'm just saying is, the important part is that let's make sure that our children know that there is no limit to them. The sky's the limit for them, right? And you know, Elon Musk is going to the moon. Where was it? Was it to Mars? Not even the sky's the limit anymore. You know, it's like there is just expansive hope, and I want that to be taken there. Now,
exactly, and that's why I think movies like 42, which was played by Chadwick Boseman, you know, where the first Black baseball player. You know,
that was Jackie Robinson, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Movies like that, movies like Hidden Figures, movies like Black Panther. Those are the type of
uplifting
movies that we should be, you know, showing and we should be celebrating. Again, I'm not saying that we are gonna cover over history as if it didn't happen, because that would be a huge injustice. But what I'm saying is that the messaging has to be inspirational and positive, because we are the ones who are feeding the younger generation.